Hello students, welcome back to class 5 EVS. Let's continue the lesson, what if it finishes? Just before getting into the new subtopics, let's recall what all things we have learned in part 1. We understood the importance of different types of resources in our daily life. We have learned what are renewable and non-renewable resources. And we have seen the differences between them. We also recognized the various types of fuel we use in our daily life. Now, let's see today's learning objectives. Identify the different products of petroleum and understand its uses. Know the fuels used in rural areas and identify its disadvantages. Compare the rates of various types of fuels used in present and the past and analyze the increase in rate. Realize the need of conserving fuel. Analyze what causes pollution, its after effects, and take proper steps to save our environment. Let me explain the uses of petroleum first. 84% of the petroleum products are converted into energy-rich fuels such as petrol, diesel, kerosene, engine oil, fuel in aircrafts, and other fuels. 16% of the petroleum products are the raw materials for many chemical products, including pharmaceuticals, that means the production of medicines and drugs, fertilizers, the chemicals that are used to increase the fertility of the soil so that the plants and crops can grow well in the soil. Pesticides, the substances that are used for destroying insects and other organisms harmful for the growth of plants. Plastics, cosmetics, that means beauty products, etc. What are the fuels used in urban areas? Most of the people, they use LPG gas cylinders. What is LPG gas? Liquefied petroleum gas. Now, some people, they use gas pipelines. What is that? That's also a form of natural gas. Some people, they use induction cooktops which work on electricity. And all of us aware that these fuels don't produce any kind of smoke inside the house. That means you can say that they are almost pollution-free fuels. Now, let's see what are the fuels that are used in rural areas. Firewood as the primary cooking fuel among 63% of the rural households, while another 23% used crop residues and cow dung cakes as cooking fuels. Only 11% rural households are using liquefied petroleum gas as primary cooking fuel. Do these fuels have any disadvantage? Yes, of course. These fuels produce large amount of smoke inside the house. That means it can lead to indoor air pollution. And what are the side effects of that? Tearing of eyes, difficulty in breathing, and continuous cough. That means these fuels are not at all good for our health. What changes happened in the usage of fuel over 20 years? Bar graphs showing the usage of common fuels like cow dung cakes, wood, LPG, coal, and electricity are showing here. Let's compare the usage of these fuels in the years 1976 and 1996. Let's compare the usage of opal and wood first. Dung cakes are also known as opal. The usage of these fuels got decreased from 84% to 75%. However, LPG and kerosene usage got increased from 10% to 18%. Coal usage got decreased from 5% to 2%. However, electricity consumption got increased from 1% to 5%. What can we understand from these data? The usage of fuel like coal, wood, cow dung cakes, etc. got decreased because they cause more pollution and difficult to manage. However, the usage of fuel like LPG, kerosene, and electricity got increased because they cause less pollution and easy and efficient to manage. Now, let's discuss some negative effects of petroleum. Petroleum refineries are a major source of toxic air pollutants. Burning of fossil fuels in vehicles releases carbon dioxide. Can we control the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? The carbon dioxide generated by burning fossil fuels can be controlled by growing trees because trees and plants absorb carbon dioxide during the process of photosynthesis. Pollution due to petroleum can cause health problems such as skin irritation, eye irritation, dizziness, headache, nausea, respiratory problems, and in extreme cases, death also. Which fuel is known as clean and green fuel? CNG. What is the full form of CNG? Compressed natural gas. That is the cleanest fuel. Natural gas is a relatively clean burning fuel source. It produces approximately half the carbon dioxide emissions that coal burning produces. So, demand for natural gas has increased in the last few decades as concerns grow about carbon emissions and global warming. What do you mean by global warming? Most of you are aware that the carbon dioxide gas has a peculiar character. What is it? It absorbs heat very fast. So when the amount of carbon dioxide increases in the atmosphere, the temperature also increases, which can lead to global warming. What is the solution for this? CNG can save us from global warming. Why do we conserve fuel? Conserve fuel, save future. We need to conserve coal and petroleum because they are not renewable source of energy and it takes millions of years for their formation. They are thus cannot be replenished quickly. So we should conserve fuel. What are the different ways of conservation of petroleum? Coal and petroleum, which are also called fossil fuels or non-renewable energy resources. One way of fuel conservation is to avoid their wastage. Switching to alternative sources such as solar energy in the forms of solar heater, solar cooker, and use of wind energy are some ways to reduce their usage. We can also reduce the use of these natural resources by using public transport and carpool. As students, what all things can you do to conserve petroleum? You all can travel by school bus instead of your private vehicles. Switch off electrical gadgets and appliances when they are not in use. Make your own solar cooker to cook or reheat food. So, dear children, your finger has the power to conserve energy. So, think, act, and save. We all have the power to conserve energy. With this, we come to the end of the lesson. What if it finishes? Thank you, dear children.